second toe as well, all right? So at that point, we basically did an emergent IND on, I believe it was that Monday night when I saw him. So it was around 6 or 7 o'clock at night, we took him in. So this picture itself is actually after the IND. So you can see half of the big toe is gone. There's a big cut on top of it. And basically after that, we drained it out and just let everything leave it open so some of the infection could drain out. He was on IV antibiotics at this point. We did take cultures, which grew back from MRSA. And we packed the wound with a iodosorb type of packing just to let it heal in and stay healthy and stay clean. So we let him sit like this for a couple days because I wanted to see what the base of the wound looked like and how healthy it looked to determine if anything more needed to be done. So then we fast forward, a couple more days later, and it was deemed necessary that, yeah, we needed to do more surgery. And you can see here, with my thumb kind of pulling the big toe, that wound pretty much wrapped all the way around the toe. So it was almost like a joystick. I felt like I could just pop the toe off if we needed to. It went super deep down to the capsule. Luckily, the bone did not feel infected in the second surgery. So second surgery consisted of another debridement, cleaning it out, flushing it. One of the wounds on the bottom I was actually able to close up because it didn't look, actively infected, no more pus. So closed that one up, and then we packed him again, wrapped his foot up, and I continued to see him in the hospital. In the last picture, we have here, you can kind of see the packing. So that's the white stuff on top. So we packed those wounds. So the packing on top of the big toe extended down to the bottom. The packing on the top near the second toe extended down to the bottom of the foot. So it tracked all over the place. It was basically a huge web. At this point, the swelling, the redness, the skin and everything looked a lot better, but I still felt as though he obviously wasn't out of the woods, but I still felt as though that there's a high possibility that he was still going to lose his foot, okay? And obviously I made the patient aware of that, but I also wanted to be optimistic with him to tell him that my job and my goal is to save his foot, because it's all he had left. So we packed him, wrapped him up. At this point, it was about 7 to 9 days later, he finally got discharged. All of his labs, his vitals, all stabilized. He felt better, his foot looked better, and he was on IV antibiotics for another, at least 6 weeks. No bone biopsies were done because the bone looked healthy, stable, both on MRI and X-ray, so I didn't feel like it was needed. I didn't want to seed an infection. But again, he did well. So, we discharged him, and then he started following up with me here in the office, and that's kind of where we're at today. So you'll see that with the next series of videos. So you can see here, all right, this wound has got considerably smaller. So we're just going to kind of clean up some of this dead tissue. All right. So pretty much all he has left is this little tiny, bullet hole, if you will. The other thing that we've been putting on it is Dakin solution, which is basically like bleach. And it works really well about keeping these wounds clean. All right. Now, just to give you, again, some backstory, I know, at the beginning we saw some pictures. So this spot actually connected all the way underneath to this spot, okay? So it was pretty much all the way open. So you can see all this tissue is healed in really, really nicely. All right, now I'm going to scroll around to the bottom, tilt it up here a little bit more. All right, so you can see this wound comes all the way around the toe. Now, when he was in the hospital, this went pretty much down to the bone. So if you joystick the toe, you would have felt like you just could pop it right off in essence. Originally, what all started this, and you might be able to see it here, he's got this little spot. All right, that was where a wound was, okay? That's all healed. He also had the spot here that we opened it up to because that abscess pretty much covered this entire spot on his foot, okay? So let's clean this up the rest of the way here. But overall, the amount of improvement, even for 6 weeks, honestly, is pretty remarkable. He's been, super compliant with everything, which is helpful. So that's why we're getting to the point we're at now. And I'm hoping, based on this trajectory, over the next maybe month, we'll be healed up. And we'll come back and we'll shoot some more videos so you can see from start to finish. Like I said at the beginning, we just did pictures. Some of the spots in the hospital, they don't really let us record. He was able to sneak a couple pictures in, which is good. So again, this is pretty much flush. All this granular, healthy tissue, that's what we want. You can see he's got good, healthy bleeding on the top, which is good. So basically we will, continue doing what we're doing. We'll get these kind of cleaned up, and then, we're gonna keep seeing him weekly, and we'll keep checking in so we can see how he's doing. So here's a follow-up. So we're about 1 week later, okay? So you can see this spot pretty much healed in. It's all kind of scarred up. You can even see the old incision up here. So again, that's all healed in. I'll clean some of this up today. Looking good. Do you remember what this grew out? What grew out? MMSA?
What's that?
MSSA? Is that what this grew out when we cultured it in the hospital?
I thought it was MRSA.
Was it MRSA? I have to go back and look. I know it was one of those two. All right, so come around to Paulina. You can see again, it's all this thick callus tissue we want to clear off so it can finish healing in properly. Touch up a little bit more here. It looks so good.
Yeah, you did a great job, Dr. Todd.
Thanks. You did too. It's amazing what compliance he does, right?
Yeah, fear. Didn't want to lose another foot or another leg.
I know. Alright, so that's pretty much it. So again, you can see this is pretty much all flush, looking good. The width is about the same. The length of this wound is significantly better. We're almost pinched off right here, so we almost have two separate wounds. Top wound's all healed up. So, I mean, he's going great. We're gonna see him, like I said, weekly, just because he's a little bit more high risk. All right, so here we are. You can see we're still progressing. We pinched off here a little bit in the center, so we have kind of one there, one here, maybe a little spot there. The top, if we scroll around, completely healed, so that's all healed up. That's all healed up. So we're making a lot of headway. Come back down here. We're gonna clean some of this stuff up. So some of the black, he was just telling me was some silver nitrate. Basically we put it on there to, he had some like fat bubbles, granuloma kind of tissue, and it helps to kind of lance that off and flatten them out. So that's what we did, got that flattened out. Wound care did. I don't want to take full credit for it. But yeah, I mean, you can see it's closing in each week that we see them. How many weeks would you say since we started all this? It was February, right?
We started this Friday after March 3rd.
Okay.
So
we're what, 2 months in?
Yeah, and it's May 1st today.
Yeah,
so 2 months of
2 months.
Once a week.
2 months, yeah. I mean, it's, as you can see, it's nothing when it comes to diabetes and wounds is quick, but to be optimistic, I would say with all things considered, with where his foot was,
yes,
where it is today, I would say it's quick.
100%.
So,
I didn't think I'd have a toe at least.
Yeah, I mean, I was, like we talked about when you're in the hospital, I was wanting to be optimistic and, push for the best, and that was the goal. But obviously that's, was certainly in the back of my mind too, was, potentially losing that part of the foot or toe.
You did a great job, Dr. Todd. I appreciate it.
Of course. I'm happy to see we're here.
You were in the hospital almost every day. I appreciate it. And actually, you were in the hospital every day, so.
Not a problem. It's part of the gig. You don't when you do this, you don't sign up for part-time duties. You know,
Yeah.
it's all or nothing. So I'm happy. You know, this. You know, if I were to look at chances and like, if you would have asked me then, you know, what the percentages were.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I would have said that this right now would have been the 100% best case scenario, without a doubt. You know, I mean, this just looks so fantastic. So we are certainly in the right direction.
I think the biggest part is catching it earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And the infection didn't spread throughout my foot and my body.
Right. So yeah, we have basically 3 little wounds. We have one here, and then that little dot one over there. So probably next time he comes in, I would assume that one in there will be healed. These will be even smaller. So we have, you know, 1.4, 5.3, let's say 7. I say 0.3, and that's just a little dot. So yeah, we're making headway. So we'll wrap it up. We'll keep pushing forward with what we're doing.
Awesome.
And next week, like I said, I would assume at least one of these 3 would be healed out.
Awesome. You guys are great. I appreciate it.
For sure. I'm so happy that we're where we want to be. And hopefully, come Memorial Day, we'll be set free.
Oh, that'll be so
completely.
nice.
Maybe even sooner. Hopefully.
You know, I lucked out. I got a job offer.
You did?
And yeah, with Hillsborough County. And
I remember you saying
because,
about that.
because of the coronavirus, they've stopped hiring.
Uh-huh.
So, but for me, that's great because I'm still hired. It's just they put off my hiring date. So
Gotcha.
this
That
is
worked out
giving
in
me
your
all
favor,
the
huh?
time I've needed to heal, which is really important.
That's
You know,
fantastic.
because if I went back while this was still all ripped apart.
Yeah.
So I really am lucky and really blessed in this situation to have everybody and everything work out the way it is.
Sure. Everything happens for a reason, you know?
Yep.
So, all right, here we are as a follow-up. My big head in the way.
Okay.
So, the little one in the center, or at the top rather, I guess I should say, looks to be healed. Like we said last time, I thought it would be pretty much healed, maybe a little tiny spot. But that one's good. And then you can see with these other 2 down here, they've pinched in quite a bit, and that's just been a week. So, you know, we're flying at warp speed here to bring up the spacing. We're just on that, right? See how they tie it all together, you
I
know?
it's awesome. That's why they give you the big bucks. Huh?
Yeah. So I went over and I did my COVID testing this morning. Because in order to do surgery at the hospital now, we got to be tested for it. And I never realized how hard it would be to produce phlegm to spit in a cup.
Oh, is that all you had to do?
Yeah. Yeah, when I got the email about it, I was like, oh man, if they have to stick that thing up into my sinuses, I don't know if I'm going to like it.
Oh, never go to an ENT then.
I know.
They do some brutal stuff.
I'm sure.
They put the scope down the back of your throat and they make you go ee.
Oh my
So your
gosh.
vocal cords vibrate a certain way. And the whole time you're just wanting to cough it up.
Yeah, I gag pretty easy. If I get a chunk in my mashed potatoes, I gag, so that wouldn't do very good for me.
So I take it you passed, or you won't?
We won't find out. They said 7 to 10 days.
Jeez.
Because when they opened it up, it's been a huge backlog, obviously, so I don't know. Then I apparently got to get fit for an N95 mask. I thought I was going to be all right since I'm not like at the ER, you know, treating potential COVID patients. I don't want to take up their stash of masks.
Yeah.
But same thing, in order to do surgery, they're making us get masks.
Yeah, and there's the OSHA has a fitment process.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what you're going through. But
Yeah.
I don't think you'll have a problem. You don't wear a beard. You don't have a
No,
mustache,
well, even
so.
today, because I was going to get fitted today, they said you have too much stubble. I was like, really? So I got to like shave in the morning and then go right over there.
I still think you'd be fine.
Yeah, I think so too. I can't wait to tell my brother he's got to do it because then he's got to shave his beard.
Oh, has he got a beard going?
He's got I think he does, right?
His little stubble.
Yeah, he always has a little bit of stubble going. It takes him about 5 months to grow an actual beard. Me, on the other hand, in 5 days, I look like Grizzly Adams.
Yeah, and that's just a matter of timing sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's good. At least business will pick up again.
Yeah, hopefully. Hopefully. It's definitely been weird over the last 2 months. There's no rhyme or reason to the days either. Some days will be crazy busy, other days will be dead.
I think people get a little stir crazy and they just,
For sure.
instead of throwing caution to the wind, they just go for it.
Right. Well, some of it too, like I equate it to, like when a hurricane